Hi, this is Carolyn, and today I'm here with something just a little different. I'm answering questions that you've asked about the process of creating collages right on the jelly plate. Consequently, the baffle gap doesn't match the images. So if you want a step-by-step video, watch it on mute and follow the titles that I've put in. They are the step-by-step instructions. So this is a finished image of the first one you'll see me working on here, and people frequently ask, where do I get these images so I can put my work in context? These are placement apps available in app stores from all the platforms. This particular one that I use is called ArtStage. One of the more interesting questions I get asked all the time in real life workshops and online, because it makes me think about my process, is why am I doing it this way? Why don't I just make collages face up on paper so that I can see what I'm doing? So the first reason is because it's fun. I was playing with some old jelly prints trying to see if they would stick under the paint and started playing with this, and I really liked the effect. The feeling is much the same as abstract painting. It's intuitive, it's playful, it's loose, and it takes your head out of the game. When I first started making them, I thought I could use them to inspire paintings. Here you can see a watercolor painting that I made from a collage. And here's a collage I did in the conventional way on paper, a face up, and it's much more static. I like it, it's interesting, but it's not as much fun to do, and the results aren't as dynamic as this method on the jelly plate. Everything we do on the jelly plate is fun and surprising. You let control go, and I suppose how much you like it is a question of your own style and what approach you like to take with your art. The Flowers Still Life piece was accepted into the Creative Canadian Collective Art Show with artworks, so that was fun as well. What materials to use? Well, you can use anything. I use a lot of my old jelly prints, but also paintings that didn't work out. I use ephemera from, the mail sorting box, from the recycling box, receipts, labels on cartons. I use pieces of magazines, pieces torn out of books, anything. It's also really fun when you cut things out to use the negative space pieces. I wouldn't naturally use or create negative shape pieces like that. So using materials in this way is quite a bit of fun. And of course, as always in collage, the editing process is very versatile. You can just keep moving things around until you like them. How do you know you like them? How do you edit them? Well, I'm lifting up the plate, but smarter people than me, and you can see their work online, they put their jelly plate on plexiglass so that they can turn it around and look at what they've got. I will get there as soon as I get a piece of plexiglass. So now you've got all different consistencies of materials with all different thicknesses. How do you pick them up? Well, you have to play with that a little bit. If the materials are really thick, then you have to use thicker paint. And if they're really thin, like if you're using rice paper or tissue paper, then what I do is I put a layer of acrylic medium on the jelly plate first. I put the fine papers, the light papers, on top of those and let that dry, and then pick the whole thing up with another layer of acrylic paint and then put my paper on it, and it does pick the whole thing up. If you have thicker papers that stick to the plate, then you can just use sort of a liquid acrylic paint and they pick up very easily. One of the things you want to look out for is the shadowing that might happen around the sides of the thicker parts. So you really have to use your fingers to feel that you're pushing everything down to touch the plate. So what kind of paint do I use? I do use the liquid paints when I pour the paint right on the plate to pick it up. If you use the tackier tube paints, then roll them out on another jelly plate first and then roll them on to your collage to pick it up. And what kind of paper? I am usually using a strong 140-pound paper, watercolor paper, or mixed media paper, but probably any kind of paper will do it. Paper that has acrylic paint set on it is very, very strong. So as long as you wait till the paint is set to the paper, you should be able to pick up whatever you're printing. Why do you always see me flipping the plate? Well, I like to see it. And also, when I have left the paper on top of the plate to set, which I used to do in the beginning, the paper almost always curled up. I saw other artists flipping their gelli plate online and I started doing it and it works way better. And all of that naturally flows into the question. Some of you have seen me put acrylic medium down on the plate first. And again, that is because I was putting lighter paper on. So rice paper or tissue paper stick to your brayer when you roll the paint over. So when I put acrylic medium down on the plate first, then put those collage elements on and let them dry, then I can put the paint on and the brayer won't pick them up. I'm just demonstrating another collage here while I answer some more questions. Same process. And a lot of people ask if you can paint over the collage so it shows behind. Yes, you can. And you can also feasibly print in front of the collage on the plate. A little more about paint here because a lot of people ask what my favorite pickup paint is, and it is important. I find that the lesser quality paints that I'm happy to use on gelli prints don't work quite as well. A good quality fluid paint works very well. And then I got a lot of questions about my use of the frame. I like to use the frame because it creates a straight edge in juxtaposition to the looseness of the print, but you don't need to use a frame. How to make the frame? I find it easiest to make it out of a piece of paper the same size as my print because then I can use the frame to register the print perfectly. Just use your math to make sure the opposite sides are each the same width. How long do I wait to lift the plate? Long, maybe overnight, at least till the corner lifts clean. When you do remove the plate, remove it really slowly because the elements could still be sticking to the plate. Though because the collage is so irregular, there will be little shadows of paint left in the ditches that show up on your gelli plate. I do sometimes tack down little lifted corners with some Mod Podge or some glue. I would not suggest putting something like leveling gel on it. I have tried it and it tends to buckle the whole print and buckle the paper. How to finish them? I just frame them under glass as they are. I have mounted pieces of some on 12 by 12 wood panels with heavy gel medium. And in terms of it being archival, no, I don't suppose it is. I'm not intentionally trying to make it archival, but I suppose you can. So a lot of people ask, how do you get it neater and less grungy? Well, I like the grungy effect. It doesn't need to be neater for me, but I did try with these cats. So it would be less elements. Thinner paint for the pickup layer helps. You'll have to try it yourself and see what you like. So I hope I've answered your questions. If you give it a try, show me what you do, and if you like what you see, subscribe to my channel.